Hello friends, today is March 6th, that's 2025, so time is flying. I think my last post was the 25th of January, so February was kind of a blur. There was a lot going on and I have started to get back to work a little bit in my basement office, and it's going really well actually. I feel like the space has really shaped up nicely and getting a lot of compliments, so hopefully people are feeling safe and comfortable here, and hopefully that'll open up another page, for a future office build maybe someday, which would be a really nice achievement in time after losing the other office and feeling like we put our heart and soul into that space. It would be really nice to have a space not in my home that I can put that kind of energy into again someday. But of course, I'd love to own it instead of rent. So dreams. But to give you an update on my cancer journey, so let's see, I've got a treatment next Tuesday. I have Herceptin and Perjeta. I'm just still doing that. Right now I'm doing it every 6 weeks. So I was able to push that out from the every 3-week option of what they normally give people. And these are full dose for these guys. So it's been going okay. I did have an echo done 2 weeks ago or so, and it seems okay as well. Though I would say I think I need to start monitoring my heart a little closer. I just don't think those echoes are picking up on the little nuances of some of the things I've experienced, like in low-level activity, feeling a little more tired or unable to kind of catch up my breath. It's almost like there's an emptiness in my chest. Only on low-level exercise, when I push it or I'm going up a hill and I'm really exerting myself, I feel fine, like my heart can catch up. So I kind of want to understand what's happening at that, and what's the trigger there if the heart isn't able to keep up. Is it a ventricular issue or what? I also had some labs done, and those labs, I've had a lot of labs done. One of those labs did show that there might be some damage occurring to some of the organs, most likely from the HER2 blockers. So the Herceptin and the Perjeta, which are immunotherapies, do cause a lot of problems. Specifically cardiotoxicity is what I've been really worried about. And my panels are showing that there is some evidence that that is happening on a cellular level. So, this is just the first panel that we've started doing, like a good look at how things, are being affected by treatment, where I'm at with other markers in my body, inflammatory markers, and, insulin tolerance, and in that whole world. So most things are looking really good. So that's great news. And some of the things that look like I could work on it, like I could probably work on the enzyme, I think it's an LD enzyme of some sort that is showing some damage. I might take that information if we do this monthly. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to go again. I think it's around the 20th of March or so, and I'll have another huge panel done. And I mean, these are like 20 vials. I mean, we have sent in a ton of stuff, trying to look at cortisol and every single thing you can think of, plus a bunch of alternative markers or other markers for cancer. So Dr. T is doing a lot of that, and I was supposed to meet with her yesterday, but we had to move it to this Friday. So I don't have the results on that panel, but she mostly just said everything looks good, other than there might be some organ damage happening, kind of early stage stuff. So anyway, that might help me make a decision to push out Herceptin and Perjeta even further, especially if there's no sign of disease. So I did also have a Signatera test that was done with my echo, and it took about 10 days to come in or so for the results. And that's looking at your circulating cancer DNA markers. And that has still come up 0. So whoop whoop, we're still 0 cancer is apparent in my body at the moment, and that is really great. I will say I was more nervous than I've been for those tests. I just wasn't sure what I'd be looking at, how bad or how quick could this, come back, and if it's morphed. These are just things I've been concerned with, and so far things are looking really good. So I think it's just going to be one of those things. It's natural that the more years tick by and the more of these tests I get, a little bit more nervous. You never really get confident, you might think that if you've never had cancer, You might think, oh, once you're clear of it, you're clear of it. But you're never really clear of it, because once your body has been able to make that kind of a cell, it can go there again. So, and I'm stage 4, so they never take you out of your staging. Whether I have cancer or not, I'm still considered a stage 4 cancer patient. So it's just something to think about, and we'll just monitor. But I do feel like I have a lot of therapies we haven't been using because there aren't active circulating cancer cells. I've cut out high-dose vitamin C for now because it's very oxidative, and that can be really damaging to my body as well. And I've slowed down on mistletoe recently, so I want to do mistletoe again, but I've recently cut it out a little because it's a very inflammatory medicine. It works that way. It's wonderful. But I currently have an outbreak of poison ivy because I went disc golfing, and I guess my bag probably got put on a vine or something. Usually really careful, but a lot of the courses I played in early February, we had like a tournament almost every day on the weekend for a couple weeks there. So I must have put my bag on something, or it had it already, and I rolled my sleeve up, and it started on this shoulder, and now I just kind of have it scattered all over my torso. I'm about 3 weeks or more out now, so I feel like we've come a long way. I don't understand how I possibly could have oils still on me, but I am dealing also with the dry skin from it, so that's itchy, and it kind of just randomly pops up. So it's far more diluted than it had been, and we identified it early on, which is great. But I am just really sensitive these days to poison ivy. I feel like I never was sensitive as a kid, but I grew up in upstate New York, so down south here in Asheville, North Carolina, it grows just everywhere, and I feel like the oils are just even stronger. Like, it's just so potent down here. I feel like I can look at it and I just get it. So I'm not going to let that stop me from disc golfing and getting out and hiking and enjoying the things I love doing. But I think I've got to be more, vigorous, or just more on it. Every time I get out there, I need to just, take the wipe and wipe my shoes, and, wipe my bag or wash the bag more often, and and then do more of a scrub on my body. So I've had quite a lot of people offer some advice, which has been great. So I have a few things I haven't tried yet that I might try the next time, but I have tried quite a lot of products. I have some favorites and I have some not so favorites. And I've done the classic Dawn detergent too, and I've done a lot of stuff. So my recent thing I've been adding that has really helped, and just literally yesterday started adding it because Dr. T has been doing some research for me and helping me figure out some other options, and high doses of quercetin. So I've started taking quercetin again, which is basically an antioxidant. It's like a plant antioxidant. It has some antimicrobial, it has anti-cancer properties. I had to stop taking quercetin during chemo because you don't want to take an antioxidant when you're doing oxidative therapy. They go against each other, and you kind of want to just, time these things properly. So I'm okay and clear to take quercetin now, and I'm taking probably 1 gram to 2 grams. She wants me to do it 2 to 3 times a day. So I've got capsules right now, but I just ordered another one that's powder, and it also has vitamin C in it, which should help the bioavailability, and it also should really help modulate the histamine release, sort of regulate some of the mast cell activity that often just goes awry when people have allergies or reactions to things that are just, way over the top. And it's like the body doesn't need to go to that extent to protect itself, but for some reason it's just this positive, feedback loop where it just gets worse and worse and worse. I feel like I'm in that loop. And the reason I bring up the poison ivy thing is I do feel like it caused some serious issues or distractions from my immune system the couple of years before I was diagnosed with cancer. I ended up getting a little spot from a piece of clothing in the middle of winter, which is typical. Here we are, now in March, but I got it in February. So this happened a couple of years ago, and we didn't know what it was at first, so kind of got on a lot of stuff. And from there, I just kind of learned the hard way that certain detergents don't work that great. You have to have oil removers and all these other things that I didn't know then. And so it progressed for about 1.5 years, and I had poison ivy rash pretty consistently on my body, especially in my forearms, which, being a hands-on worker, it was miserable because I washed my forearms probably 4 to 5 times every morning, which takes a lot more time than you think, and you feel really raw. Like the skin just feels raw. I never gave it to anyone. I never had anybody say they had poison ivy from me. I was very careful. Sarah never got it. It's like for me, it's like it's underneath that layer or something, and it's just, you get warm, you sweat, and it comes back out. I used to have breakouts when I would get into my sauna, and I would have it, a spot pop up on my side, just from like my arm resting on it in the sauna and stuff like that. So, back then I ended up getting into a homeopathic remedy, and I had to increase it like 1 drop a day, real slow, and then I had to decrease it slow, and I ended up falling off as I was on the decreasing side, because by then I really started having improvement, of course. So I gave it up, which, looking back, but here I am now. And I tried to do it a little in the beginning, but I actually think, because if you go into it too quick with some homeopathic remedies, you can like force it out of your body. It's supposed to like push it out of your cells somehow. And I think it, maybe made it worse in the beginning. I don't know. So I'm going to be trying another type of homeopathic that Dr. Hancock suggested. And that one, Dr. T is actually going to be able to get me now, because she just got certified in mistletoe. They just had the conference like a week or 2 ago. So that's really exciting. So that's also a cool thing, because that means I won't have to go to Atlanta as often, maybe at all. I can do telehealth stuff with Hancock if I need. But I also have, this person right here in town that's much more accessible. So I'm really looking forward to not having that huge day commute for Mistletoe Monthly. So yeah, I'm just so excited for that. So hopefully this other thing she's got, for the allergies, it's a subcutaneous injection. It's supposed to help get the immune system regulated. So I'm going to give it a shot. But I also used a drawing salve, which is like a topical drawing salve. It's called like Prid or whatever. It's PRID. It's like in a little orange tin. They say it's a homeopathic drawing salve, and I think it helps pull things out. I used that last time, and I used it in combo with that other homeopathic therapy, and I think it really knocked it out. So I tried it this time in the beginning, and I think it really helps. This current time, it's sort of spread all over my torso, so it's really hard to put a drawing salve all over. It's a small amount, and it's like super sticky, and so I stopped doing that, and I went focusing more on the drying stuff. I was trying to intermix them, but my skin gets so dry. So anyway, I've got a few new tricks up my sleeve, and I definitely seem to be making good headway. So I think I'll have this kicked hopefully in this next week or so. The Quercetin, just even overnight, I mean, just the redness and the swelling and the irritation looks so much less. I do think the Quercetin has already made a big impact. So I'm going to keep up on that for a while. Plus, it has anti-cancer benefits, so why not? Seems like a good help. Plus, if it helps me not have to take mega doses or maybe not mega doses, but so many doses of Benadryl. I'm even putting topical Benadryl on, which does really help, but it is, how much of that can you have on your body? So Quercetin sort of is like your natural Benadryl in a way. So we'll see. I'm going to give it a shot. Keep you guys posted. But yeah, the link with poison ivy is I have concerns that this is just another way my immune system is being distracted. So I just didn't want to overload it with the mistletoe and have that create an extra inflammatory response on top of an already pretty inflammatory response from my own immune system. So we'll get back at it though. I still do the subcutaneous injections. Again, we've just pushed it out a little bit. Keeping up with the vitamin D. I'm keeping up with the vitamin B12. Supplement-wise, I have slowed down on a few supplements. I'm keeping up on silymarin, so milk thistle for the liver, to keep my liver regenerating. And so far, I think the liver has done really well. We of course gave up alcohol when I was diagnosed, which we had already given up what I really loved, which was beer at the time, because I was a home brewer. And I gave that up about 2 years before the cancer diagnosis, because I'd started realizing gluten was a real irritant. That, or it's glyphosate, who knows. But any of the wheat stuff I had definitely caused problems. So yeah, I was doing like gluten-free beers and got into sake and some other fun elixirs, but gave up all of that. Was it November 16th or so when I had my diagnosis back in 2023. So it has now been over a year. It's been like a year and a half now since any alcohol, which they say after a full year of no alcohol, your liver has a chance of regenerating, like it has that time to heal. So obviously I want that because that's where my cancer ended up metastasizing to. I want to give my liver the best chance it can to do its job. So the milk thistle's a really great support for that. And I'm doing still some turmeric, got a little black seed oil. I always rotate black seed oil in. It's, black cumin. It has many names, but that's kind of one of those cure-alls. So I'll keep that in the rotation. Definitely still doing high-dose melatonin before bed, and that is extremely anti-cancer, and it has a lot of things that are really helpful at, again, modulating the immune system. A lot of autoimmune disorders can be linked with melatonin issues as well. And it's not just your pineal gland. Everybody thinks they're the pineal gland in the brain. That only really produces about 5% of your melatonin. That's not really, it's part of the circadian rhythm, but that is not the main, forager of melatonin. And so you can have really high amounts of melatonin. Some people get into grams and up from there. You can't overdose in melatonin, which is really great. But, at those higher numbers, and there's plenty of books now out about melatonin, at those higher numbers, you can have some really awesome benefits for things that there aren't a lot of conventional treatments for, especially ones that wouldn't come with a lot of side effects. What do they do for autoimmune people? They put them on immune blockers. So, that sounds great in one way, like, the immune system won't be so active. But then you're also opening them up to this huge risk of disease and infection. So it's just some of those things in conventional medicine they just make no sense to me when you really think it through the full picture. It's like they had a knee-jerk reaction that it caused the opposite of what they were looking for, and that's good, so we're just going to market it, without looking at what are the consequences? So that's the kind of thing where, melatonin or mistletoe or some of these alternative therapies that I've incorporated, I think could be, huge help at getting people into a more regulated state. Give that stuff a look. I've definitely done videos on melatonin in the past, so you can look back if you're intrigued. Another big one was methylene blue has come up a lot lately. I've had quite a few patients asking about it. I did cycle a methylene blue for, it was a couple weeks ago, and I did it for about 2 weeks. I just rotate it in every once in a while, especially if I'm low energy. I feel like that really helps. I had started it in the poison ivy because I was worried that on a blood level I might not go septic, essentially. You can't really go septic from that because it's not bacterial based, but because of the risk of infection, because I have sores on my skin, I was worried. So I did it as a precautionary, and I felt fine, and I didn't get any infection or any issues. So I'm pretty sure methylene helped. It also helps a lot of people with UTIs and all sorts of other stuff. So I think it was a good one to rotate in, and I might rotate it in again for other reasons down the road, for anti-cancer reasons and things too. So that kind of covers most of my updates, I think, from the last month. It's been good to get back into a rhythm of things. I've really missed my work structure. I'm not at all working what I used to work. I see far less people. And partly that's, I haven't actively reached out to everyone. I did send out an email to my patients that most of them may or may not even get. Emails are just so overloaded these days. But, I've had quite a lot of people reach out, and I've gotten in pretty much anyone who's reached out. So if people haven't been reaching out, and they had before, I tried to remember to reach out, but, I'm sure I'm dropping the ball somewhere. So I guess I just put it back out there that if you're one of those people that is like, oh, wait, you're working again? Yes, I am. Just reach out, because I'm just not there like I used to be. I'm sharp, but I'm not as sharp. I can tell a difference. That's kind of the big thing. I feel like I've noticed more in the last few months the effects of memory that maybe the chemo had or the other drugs had. I feel like I'll get, into a story, and I'm there, and then all of a sudden I'm just like aware that I'm telling a story, and then I forget the big picture completely. So luckily, a lot of people function in that every day. So everyone's like, well, that's age and all these things, but I just feel like mine has been like so rapid. I feel like it has to be from the cancer treatments I've had. And I'm, hoping that settles down. I have also started back with a little bit of royal jelly. That's from bees, and royal jelly is what they feed the queen. And it is I just don't like the taste. It's like really sour. You have to have it on an empty stomach. I did have a patient just suggest mixing it with some honey, so I think I might try that. Because I just can't stand it. I got super nauseated one morning I did it, and I was very quickly sitting on the kitchen floor with the, garbage in front of me, and that has not been something I've dealt with for a hot minute. I mean, I get nausea waves way more than I used to. They hit me now, but I can usually get rid of them pretty quick. But that one was really bad, and all I can think of was that I had that royal jelly, and maybe it upset my belly. I don't know. So I had to stop. I was doing it, and then I had to stop. But I need to get back on it because it is very good brain support. So you guys can look into that. It's just one of those like super nutrient-packed things. So that kind of summates what I've been up to, and I still managed to talk for 20 plus minutes. Geez, so sorry. And I do have a lot more to update on when I get those lab results. I'll be talking with Dr. T tomorrow. So maybe in the next week or two, I'll do another video because I have treatment on Tuesday as well. And if anything interesting comes up, I'll share with you guys then. But I'd love to share some of those labs for those of you out there that are maybe trying to monitor your health. Maybe you've had cancer. Maybe you want to make sure you don't get it. I can go through some of that stuff and just explain what I have gleaned from it and maybe the importance of doing your own labs routinely. So more of that will come in time as we get into a pattern here. It's going to be a monthly thing. So the more data we get, the more we'll see, the trend and maybe how my lifestyle is affected by it or it's affecting it. So I'll update you guys when I get that information. And I hope you've all been well, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. It is, what is this, Thursday now? So nice, almost to the weekend. And yeah, I will catch up with you guys in a few weeks. Thanks for stopping in. Bye.